You are now listening to
the Primal Armor Podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Home Gym Con. This is the first conference dedicated to home gym fanatics. At this event, you'll have the opportunity to get your hands on hundreds of pieces of equipment, get exclusive discounts on items for your gym, learn from industry experts, and much more. The conference starts on April 14th in French Lick, Indiana. Visit homegymcon.com to order your tickets and use the code PRIMAL to save 10% on your purchase. Using that code also donates 10% of the proceeds to Huntington's disease research. Join myself, as well as all of your other favorite brands and sponsors this April by going to homegymcon.com today and ordering your tickets using our special code. Welcome back to episode 81 of the Primal Armor Podcast. This week, I want to dive a little bit deeper into how to properly structure a daily workout program. And this is honestly one of the hardest topics in all of fitness, because there's so many different routes you can take, from powerlifting to bodybuilding, endurance, sports-specific drills, and the list goes on and on. But where exactly are you supposed to start, and in what order? The way you want to order your workouts will make a lot of sense to you after I explain it. You want to work your biggest and strongest and fastest muscles first, and then you want to keep working your way to smaller and smaller muscles throughout the workout. But why is that? First, it's because you want to be safe. If you're taxing your smaller muscles first to a full exhaustion, then they won't have much capacity for later on in the workout. And then when you go to bigger compound lifts like bench or squat, those small muscles won't be firing at the same strength, speed, or rate that you want them to or need them to. But you'll still probably be trying to push the same weights that you can with those big muscles. And this is how knees cave in on squats, and how shoulders give out on bench, and how injuries come forward, both acutely and chronically. You don't want to be doing tons of lateral raises or lat pull downs before you're trying to go bench heavy weights. You engage so much of the shoulders and lats during heavy bench presses, and you'll pull or tear a muscle under fatigue if you try to keep up with the bigger muscles like biceps and triceps and pecs. And the same thing goes for squats. You don't want to tax your lower back, core, or glutes, and then go get under some really heavy weight. That's when you end up blowing something out or failing a lift, and that's when those injuries happen. And you also don't want to be doing this because that's not how progress is made. If you're taxing those small muscles and then trying to get under those big compound lifts, you won't have any strength capacity to hit those higher numbers that you need to gain strength. Because strength comes from heavy weights and lower reps. And the weights won't be as heavy if you keep taxing those smaller muscles first in your workouts. So you won't be seeing those strength gains like you would if you did things in a different order. The correct way to structure a workout is to hit your power movements first, and then your strength, and then hit your accessory muscles from biggest to smallest. And this can be broken up into upper body or lower body splits, chest day and back days, leg days, and so forth. But you want to do your power, then your strength, and then your accessories to get the most bang for your buck. The reason you do power movements first, like cleans, snatches, jumps, and sprints, are because the rep ranges to increase power are about 1 to 3. And it takes a lot of explosiveness and a lot of speed to improve. And you can't perform at maximum speed or explosiveness unless you're completely fresh and there's no muscle fatigue at all. In no way you want to be doing high box jumps after taxing your legs, because that just spells disaster. And after working on power movements, you'll still have plenty of energy to hit those bigger compound lifts like shoulder press, bench, rows, deadlifts, or squats. You want to hit these hard and heavy and use all the energy you have from your big muscles, because you won't be needing them any longer for power movements. And you'll be working on isolated muscles later in accessory work. For strength, you're looking for about 3 to 5 rep range. And that's when you really get the strength. Because while you can get strength in the rep ranges from 8 to 12, that's more for muscle growth. And the smaller rep ranges elicit more strength because you'll be pushing heavier and heavier weights. And then after taxing those big muscles, you can start focusing on smaller muscles. And this is where most people start to focus on the muscles they want to see that get bigger in the mirror. But this is actually where you need to start working on the small muscles that get activated in the bigger lifts that you just did. For example, if you're doing squats, you need to be focusing on glute bridges, hyperextensions, glute ham raises. Or for bench, you need to be focusing on rotator cuff work, lat work, and biceps and triceps. You want to build muscle in the smaller muscles that'll eventually help you lift bigger weights in those compound lifts, and that'll make you bigger and stronger. They help the joint stay in position and give you that extra few percent to push through those heavier weights. And that's why accessory work is so important to do. If you do your workouts in this order, you're always going to be getting the most bang for your buck to see strength and size increases while also staying safe. It's when you start straying from this and you start doing your favorite things first in a workout, that's when you start to plateau quickly and injuries can start to show up. And if you're doing cardio type of exercises, such as longer runs, rows, or even biking stints, save those for last. Because you don't want to tax your muscles doing long bouts of exercise and then go try to strength train, because your muscles won't perform at the same level as they did, or they won't get as big or strong as your potential. And you have to allow roughly 48 to 72 hours of rest between muscles for strenuous workouts. So this is a great style to focus on upper body workouts one day and then lower body workouts the next. This program allows you to focus on a bigger set of muscles and then work your way to smaller until you're hitting exhaustion. Then you'll see some surprising gains, but you'll also need time to recover because of that. So that's why you can pick another power movement and another muscle group to work on the next day. So here's kind of an example of 2 days that I would typically do in my program. On day 1, we're starting off with some power cleans or some power snatches. Really high weight, but very low reps. I'm usually doing just really heavy singles. And then I'll usually hit a heavy single, and then I'll work my way back down about 10 or 20 pounds, and then I'll hit a few more sets of singles. And that really gets my muscles and my central nervous system firing on all cylinders. And then I'll go hit a heavy overhead press, working my way up to like 5 sets of 5 to 8, depending on how I'm feeling. And then I'll do the same thing with bent over rows, so I get a push and a pull movement in on my upper body day. And then I'll throw in 5 sets of maximum rep pull-ups, really targeting my back, because no one you've ever seen is that strong has had a weak back. And then I'll do some burnout style exercises for those smaller muscles, like lateral raises for my shoulders, some bicep curls, and some tricep pull downs. Usually like 5 sets of around 20 each, really focusing on form each time. And that's usually working on hypertrophy and getting bigger size in those muscles so they're stronger for those compound lifts. And then the next day I'll do a very similar workout, but with my lower body so my upper body can rest. I'll start with progressively higher and higher box jumps until I can hit about 2 or 3 jumps at a height that's very challenging for me. And then I do that to really get those muscle fibers firing again. Then I'll start to deadlift or squat. I usually work into a really heavy single for the day to make sure everything is recruited and firing at maximum capacity. Then I'll drop down and usually hit 5 sets of 3 to 5 reps on either. And then I'll do some really heavy good mornings or some heavy lunges, like 5 sets of 10. And then I'll work down to those accessory lifts like glute bridges, band walks, leg curls, or extensions for my accessory work. And that doesn't mean that's the best program out there, but that's just another way that you can structure a power, strength, and accessory work program. And if you don't know exactly where to begin, or if you need a new boost to your workout program, if you start trying to structure your programs in this way, and then you throw in meaningful exercises for each point that I brought across today, you'll start to see some really good progress and relatively quickly. And you can tailor your exercises for whatever goal you may have set for yourself. But this is a great roadmap to becoming a stronger you and trying to hit your full potential. This episode is sponsored by Executive Fit LLC. They build custom deadlift platforms, custom barbell storage pieces, and make indoor and outdoor signage for your home or corporate gym. Every platform that pairs with a rack is customized to that specific rack, so everything fits nice and clean. And they ship nationwide. Each platform has a logo applied in a way that makes it impossible to peel up from wear and tear. They even make custom nameplates for your squat rack. Visit executivefitllc.com to request a quote and see what's available on their store. That's executivefitllc.com to upgrade your deadlift game today. I just want to thank you for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you back here again next week.